Hello everyone. Today is our talk number 41, and we are going to be chatting with a dear friend, a great collector, a great dealer, consultant, and an inspiration for many young people out there who wanted to be in the world of art. His name is Alberto Chehebar. We're gonna invite him now to be part of this talk. Let's take a look. Here he is online. There is so many people joining us. Thank you very much. Let's take a look. It's coming. There's a lot of people doing live Instagrams at noon. Before it was just an empty space. Now I guess the world like the noon time. Let's give it a try again. Alberto Chehebar. Let's take a look. He needs to request to be part of the conversation. Alberto, if you are there, please request to be part of the conversation. If you can hear me. Let's take a look. It's not happening. Apologize for the delay. We are going to give it a try again. Another invitation. I can see lots of people here, but I don't see Alberto. Let's take a look. Thank you for your patience. He's gonna connect any moment. Here is a lot of people saying hi. I invite you guys to take a look of our all our conversations. We have already 40 that you can take a look at our Instagram page, the Art Design Project, and they're all an IGTV. Let's invite him again. Something funny is happening today with the Instagram. Here he is. Hello. Now you have to request to be with us, Alberto. You see me, now you request to be part of the talk. I send you an invitation. Here you are. Conversation. I'm waiting. Great.
Wasn't easy. Wow.
Well, you're fashionably on time, which is great.
I was there 5 minutes before. I don't know what happened.
I'm very proud. It's hard for me to describe to everybody that knows, that don't know Alberto, what an amazing person he is, what an amazing businessman, great boyfriend to a fantastic, gorgeous girlfriend, Jocelyn Katz, a great son. And also an incredible, inspiring person. Tell us, Alberto, when you got interested in art and how, why?
Hi, Juan Carlos. It's really good to be here. You know, you and I have collaborated in really what is the beginning of this, you know, urge to collect and to buy and to support. When I moved in 1999 to Miami, we met. We were already art lovers, and I went to one of your shows that you created in the Design District when the Design District was nothing yet. And I walked into a Peter Beard show then. There were, I don't know, 300 works?
472.
There we go. 72. I remember that moment clearly because I wanted to buy them all. And it was you know, I wanted to collect Peter Beard in depth. So what happened in that moment is I understood that you know, you needed to collect artists in depth, and that's what that show was visceral for me because of that. It just I mean, it's one of the most beautiful shows I've ever seen to this day.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's the truth. And anyway, that was my move in '99 to Miami. But before that, I went to college in the '80s in New York, and Haring, Warhol, Basquiat, that whole movement was happening, and I was I was taken by it in a second. Then I moved to Colombia in '91, and I started to get involved with the local scene. Someone like, one of the first artist studios that I visit was an artist that has passed now, but that really created um, that idea of visiting the artist in the studio and learning about his process, who is Gustavo Salamea, who's an extraordinary artist, underrated. A lot of the artists in Colombia, unfortunately,
They are.
don't have the exposure because there's a lot of talent there. I love Colombia. I don't collect a lot of Colombian artists because I've been in the United States for so long, and I am usually influenced by what I have around me.
Yeah, yeah. It is important to mention something. When you walk into that gallery and saw the show of Peter Beard that we had, you already have a little bit of contact. I would say you were kind of flirting with some local contemporary art, and I saw your eyes, and you were coming every day, and I will ask myself every day, is he gonna buy anything? But then I realized there was the beginning of a great friendship, and also the beginning of a guy who really liked to support art from the depth. You really wanted to get involved with the artists. You really like to visit their studios. You really got into that sort of young art that, as I mentioned to you before, sometimes I don't understand because I'm coming from another background, but I really respect. And today, that's the reason that I wanted to invite you to this talk. For respect, and at the same time for you to teach me and to teach a lot of the audience why you collect this small amount of favorite artists that I actually push you to the world to let me know. So we're gonna do that thing. But going back to that, we even did a show together called Monumental Nudes.
We'll talk about that. I want to talk about that.
Go for it.
Yeah. Well, again, just to reiterate the whole Peter Beard experience, and he passed away recently, and I saw him a couple of years ago in Paris, and he always had a very tumultuous life, and did what he wanted to do, and anyway, but that moment with Peter Beard and your show there really marked something in me, and and I really understood that I wanted to collect in depth, and that I was going to do this for the rest of my life. That's what happened. That's why I kept going there so much, and I really credit that show and your vision. And I'm not bullshitting here, with a big spark that happened in me. Then we became friends, and we, Art Basel was getting created in Miami. You were part of the committee. I was part of the junior host committee, and then 9/11 came, and it didn't happen. And anyway, we created something called Monumental Nudes, a show that to this day, I've never done another show after that, FYI. But that we did there with Avedon, Newton, Roof, Peter Beard, of course. I mean, it was an extraordinary show that we did in the Moore building, in Craig Robbins building, that now, Go and Deitch do their shows there. I mean, we were there 20 years ago, and we did an extraordinary show there that I do you have the invitation somewhere?
I do. I'm going to send it. You have it.
Send me the invitation.
It was just so unbelievable. Javier Balonra,
Yes.
It was Miquel Conte. It was such a festival. I think at the time, you acquired some of Helmut Newton.
I still have it all.
I don't know if you know, but it went in auction for the biggest ever net Phyllis, 1.8. So you did have a big
Yes, you know, I bought that dressed and undressed for my parents, whom I love tremendously, and I'll also credit them for a lot
Ooh,
of my passion in art. But they still have that dressed and undressed in their room in Miami.
well, they now have 1.8
They,
million dollar hang in the wall.
yeah, you know, and listen, I own the Ariel portfolio. I know I own some big nudes. I own some beautiful work from Helmut Newton. And at the beginning of this infatuation with art, it was all about photography with me.
Yeah.
And it was Peter Beard and Helmut Newton and Irving Penn and Avedon and all, you know, and Gursky and Struth and you know, Crutzen. It all started with photography.
And Araki.
Araki, I have some beautiful Arakis.
Yeah, I
Beautiful
remember that show that I did,
that I bought from you, some of those.
Celso Castro and Araki. So then,
Yes.
you know, you kind of went on your own, trying to do your own thing as a dealer. You know, I remember you partnered with your brother. You opened a beautiful space in Miami. Miami was not enough for you. You know, I always tell the people in Miami that Miami become a city only the first week of December. The rest of the time it's a very nice city. There is zero art, and you do this jump from New York
Well,
to Los Angeles.
well, yeah. Now I've been in LA close to 7 years now, completely submerged in this and doing studio visits and supporting young art. I am young art and mid-career art, but basically living artists. I am very interested in friending the artists, getting into their studios, uh, you know, listening to their process, to their aches, to their pains, supporting it a lot. I'm just a curious person that loves to see and collect art. You know, I do it with Jocelyn. We've been together for almost 17 years now, and we travel. Now we don't travel so much, but I'm online a lot, seeing what's going on, and I'm very involved, and I'm online every day looking for young artists and people to connect to in the art world. I also talk to a lot of young collectors. I I help them go through the process, anything to remove barriers and to really open the art world to a lot of people that are interested but that sometimes feel threatened by it.
Yep.
My idea is to be a bridge there. You know, I've been doing this for 30 plus years.
Yeah. You certainly are a very smart person with a great vision of what is new. I do remember, I'm sorry, there is a little echo. Your phone, maybe, or is it mine?
I don't hear it.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
I hear you well. I hear
Yeah.
you well.
I remember you were the first person that I heard to talk about George Condo.
Yes.
Fascination with George Condo was incredible. Tell us about why.
I don't know why. I know that you know it was around in 2005 and 2000. Listen, I've been a Picasso a lover for forever, and there was something in George Condo's works that absolutely I was absolutely drawn by them since the beginning, and in 2006 and in 2005. You know, his work was passing at auction. Um, he was selling at 50,000, 30,000. You know, it wasn't. You know, people were making not fun of me, but for many years, people thought that that Kondo was going nowhere. You know, he just did 7 million at auction last week. Uh, an extraordinary painting, by the way. I think it was a 72 by 72-inch painting, and still, you know, he has a lot of detractors in the arts, and a lot of people. I'm a firm believer, and I think we're only seeing the beginning of what Kondo will become. Um, you know, he's been moving now. He's now with Hauser and Wirth. He was with Scarsted. I don't know what it was that made me absolutely fall in love with the work, but I was truly obsessed with him for about 8 or 9 years. I'm still obsessed. let's say I'm not actively buying his work. It's just gone out of my price range completely, and I have gone to other artists. But he's still pivotal in my collection, and very influential in how I see and I collect art going forward.
Yeah, I took the chance to defy your knowledge of Kondo just to just select a couple of images because I really throw you through the wall, telling you, give me your favorite artist, because I know, so little about this, what I know, just a small part is in photography. But learning from you and see your vision as I can prove it. I'm a firm believer that you were the first person that I was pushing Kondo 20 years ago, and people were like amazed, like, oh my God, I have to pay 20,000 for this, 30,000 for this, another 7 million, 5 million. So you have become such a good influence as a dealer, as a private collector, as an advisor for many collections. So it reminds me a little bit also about your fascination with these. God, now I can't believe it's not Kid Haring. It's the guy who used to live in Miami. My God, the paint, the cars, and the pools, and
Kenny Sharf.
Kenny Sharp. Yes,
Yes.
kind of like
Kenny
the combination there, no?
Sharf lived in Miami for about 7 years. I see him here in LA. He's a really good friend. He has two big shows coming up with two very important gallerists. I think it's his time. He's a genius. He's a beautiful human being. What he's saying in his works couldn't be more relevant in what's happening today. He's a beautiful soul, an extraordinary painter. We have not seen the end of him yet. It's only the beginning with him. Yes, very influenced by Sharf, and I bought Sharf. I bought some amazing Sharfs earlier on in Miami because he lived there for so long.
Ah,
Well, for a while, like 7 years or something like that. There were pieces around in the Miami collector base that I was able to get.
yeah.
Kevin
Nobody
Brook,
was buying Kenny Sharp. It
Kevin
was
Brook helped. No one was. The Mugrabis were buying Kenny Sharf, and they've been very big supporters of it. And he's very well collected in an extraordinary collections.
yeah.
Um,
But I'm glad because also that's another person that I remember at the beginning when you were start to collect paints, that you were pushing a lot, and everybody was wondering. And now, after all these years, again, here's a second home run, Kenny Sharp, George Kondo, and it goes and goes and goes and all these amazing. Let's talk about these artists. Josh Smith.
That's another huge obsession of mine. With Josh Smith, and again, there is no process here on how it happens. I was walking a fair. I don't know, maybe 8 years ago, and I saw a palm tree on a booth, and I walked right by it, and then I'm like, I look at Jocelyn, and I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. Let's go look at that. Let's go just back and look at that palm tree, and I don't know. It clicked. It clicked, and we bought the palm tree, and we bought every single thing that Josh basically has done. I'm a huge fan of the Reapers. I went deep on them. I love them. I can't get enough of them. His name paintings are extraordinary. His new series of New York skylines and apartments that he did during COVID is extraordinary. The turtles are incredible. I love the galleries that he's been. I love Eva Presenhuber. I love Zwerner. Hopkins has done an incredible job with Josh. I just love what he does. There's no
Because
reason that
it
I can.
reminds me of the Scream in a way.
Oh yes, 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 yes. He's adapting many historical contexts, but really the topic for him is not as important as the repetition and the process of actually just using paint and color. Is something very important for him, and he'll do as many Reapers as he wants. It's
Yeah,
incredible.
I think their mind of these young artists now pretty much defy, you know, the pretty much the system in a way is quite an obsession for them, don't you think?
Absolutely, 100%. Yes, yes, yes. I mean, you know, I am interested in artists that are neurotic and obsessive because I have a lot of that in me. You know, I am pretty neurotic. I am pretty obsessive compulsive. You know, I have all these, I think,
Elements that are,
elements in my personality, and I relate with that a lot within the artist.
yeah. And then we talk about Robin. Uh,
Yes.
you know, this sort of young androgynous person who really have it together in a fantastic way, doing these large paintings, you know, obsessed with women's.
Let me see if I can. Yeah, there she is.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, listen, with Robin is a pretty new obsession, and you know, it's not easy to get her paintings. I went to a show here in LA, and I saw the works, and I absolutely fell in love with her. Her technique, again, she's talk about technique and neurosis. She's as good as she's as good as she's as good as they get. The line, I don't know if it becomes a little blurry,
Yeah,
but
no, but the perfection of their painting. She's a truly painter.
she's
Yeah.
extraordinary. She's you know, yeah, she's one of my favorite. Listen, I'm buying and collecting a lot of women these days. I think they're you know, I love Josh and Kondo and Jonas Wood and Mark Grochon. I mean, those are all very, very close to my heart, and I think they're all, you know, very, very important artists going forward. But you know, I'm collecting a lot of women these days are drawing my attention. This is a Hillary Pechis in the background.
Beautiful.
She's doing some amazing job. Her perspective, the way she composes is really beautiful.
Yeah, fantastic. Let's talk about these other artists because it's so educational to talk to you. You know, Nicholas.
Another, you know, listen, all these weird characters, a lot of surrealism involved. All, you know, again with Nicholas Party, you know, I saw one painting and I knew I had to get in, and I did, you know, and I got in at 25,000 and at 30,000, and I own a beautiful collection of Nicholas Parties. Now I can't get anything, you know, I can't get them primary. I can't get him secondary, or I have to pay a lot of money, or and you know he just did $1 million at auction. Nicholas is you know, very little people work pastel and have the imagination that he does for me these days. It's just it's a treat. His works.
When you talk about when you
I have
talk
a portrait. I have a portrait here that I like. It has a little bit of glare, but I think I can give you a quick peek here.
I love to, yes.
Yeah, but
Oh,
it's
beautiful.
just,
And to work in pastel is something so spectacular. You know?
yeah, and he, you know, he frames them and he does it's a little peek.
Wow.
You know, he frames them and he does you know, he does everything himself basically. It's you know, these pastels need to be framed.
Yeah. And Jonas Wood, now to have it, you know, it's just the boom of these artists. It's just been unbelievable, you know, it's now the darling of fashion. You know, he's doing collaborations with major fashion houses and being in big shows around the world. And I remember, you know, hearing this name from you maybe 20 years ago, 15 years ago.
Yeah, about you know, with Jonas, it was about 13 years ago, and it was on one of my trips coming back from China that I stopped in LA, and I did a studio visit in his studio, and again, it was you know, you know, these I mean, it was just extraordinary. I couldn't believe I was seeing this studio and these extraordinary words, and I went in and I started buying. The that's an extraordinary one. The collecting art, you need to pull the trigger, you need to buy, you need to commit. Is the only way that you're going to create something interesting long term. I've met so many people that are actually interested in the arts that don't pull the trigger. They just
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah. The commitment that you have with the artist is quite clear lately. It's sort of like when you see this amazing series on Netflix, or, when you see the Medicis, how they support art and how they go through extraordinary causes to do it. And, you're very committed to your artists that you collect, and very generous. With your Instagram, which is also like a work of art. It's just great to see the selections. I always have, these sort of fun conversations with you, and I say, wow, the more difficult to understand, that's the art for Alberto. It's nothing minimal. But then,
it's really important to stay open, to stay humble, to be to give back, and also to be able to change your mind. Sometimes I see sometimes I see a work of art that I don't like, and I'm like, I'm out. This is not for me. And then 3 months later, I'm completely gravitated to it. So I am not one of these collectors, or whatever you want to call me, that I change my mind all the time. And that versatility has helped me in the past, to be able to change my mind, to be open about it, and also to go my own route. There's so many trolls on Instagram and so many haters that are pushing, some type of agendas. And, you got to look at all that with a grain of salt. And do not take a lot of what's happening on Instagram literally. There are a lot of trolls that aren't. You can't sit there and ponder on that, because you're gonna get worked up. And I've never had doubts when I buy an artist. I have buyer's remorse because my wallet feels empty. I definitely overbuy, and that is a situation I deal with every day.
that's a
Uh,
build process.
yeah, I have a very big problem saying no when I love an artist. A very big problem.
It's quite interesting, because when I see you at the fairs, you always have the time to say hi, to go through the galleries. But I see that your deep interest is like when you discover a piece, it's like, I want to meet the artist. I really want to meet the artist before I buy this.
Oh, absolutely. Moving to LA was in part because I wanted to be closer to the artists that I was interested in, I was collecting. Unfortunately in Miami, there's some great artists there, but there's not a lot of studio visits, and there's not a lot of that over there. So maybe it will change with time, and I hope it does. But here in LA, I can do 10 and 12 studio visits a week, find extraordinary artists every week, and it's endless.
It's endless. It's fantastic. What about Claire Tabaret?
Claire, and another of my recent obsessions. I've been buying work from Night Gallery and from Almin now for quite a bit. She just did 450,000 at auction last week. I just love what she's doing with the paintings, with the paint, and how she composes and what she's saying. She lives here in LA and is French, and Peloton is working with her, and I enjoy living with the work. I have a large painting downstairs, but it's a mess today.
We don't want to get you downstairs. Don't worry. Well, what about then? You jump from that sort of classic way to paint from a very contemporary point of view, but then you go back to geometries, and in this amazing sort of artist that honestly is one of my favorites on the list that you sent. I think his work is spectacular. How do you get involved with that?
Well, with Mark it was very my fascination with Mark definitely started with these butterflies, with these works on paper, and I just couldn't stop seeing them and analyzing them. And back then they were already quite expensive. We were looking at papers that were 12 by 9 inches at 65,000 back then. And those were very big commitments, and we didn't know where this was really going. But to me, and I don't say this lightly, I think that Mark Rochan is probably the best painter doing work right now. One of them. I don't want to.
For you, that's fantastic. If it's for
It
you, we all love
just extraordinary. I've been able to go to his studio quite a lot. We've become close friends. I enjoy seeing how he creates and how he thinks, and I just love the way the use of color, how he expresses himself on the canvas, how it's mind blowing to me, and it's inspiring.
Yeah. There is, we already, Instagram have that sort of 1 hour thing, and I wanted to cover that part of your favorite and somehow some of your favorite artists. But then you live with art, you have a muse, you have an art collection. You choose to live in this amazing Richard Neutra house. How did that house came to you?
Yes. Well, I've always been obsessed with modernism, and I started collecting Italian furniture in Miami. In the 2000s, I started buying Gio Ponti like crazy. And then when I moved into my first apartment in Miami, I started buying modernist furniture and George Nelson and just Gio Ponti, Nakashima, just the whole thing and the whole obsession with furniture, which is an obsession, and I collect it, and I absolutely love it. So the interest in modernism starts there. Then we moved to LA, and I knew I wanted to live in an architectural home. Period. That was a dream that had to be that had to happen. And then finally we walked into this house, and when we saw it, I knew I was going to do anything that I could to get it, and it wasn't easy to get. Do you know the photographer Mark Seliger?
Of course.
This used to be his house, and I bought it. I bought it from him. He did an extraordinary job at actually bringing it back to its wonder, with an extraordinary restorer called Mark Hadawi, who you should look into. He's an absolute purist and a beautiful. He's doing the best work, I think.
I've been in the house, and I think it's just remarkable. Not only the restoration was done perfect, also how you have gracefully.
I'm losing you.
The house with the entire collection around, because it's like a constant moving of art on all your walls. It's your lab. What do you think is the future of your collection? What do you want it to do now that you have accumulated so many pieces? What do you think you want to do? Where do you want to see it?
What I know, I don't know what's going to happen to the collection in the future. I don't know. There's many pieces. I still truly don't know. What I do know, and this is something that's been happening for a while now, is that I want to get more involved. I want to get much more involved in emerging and helping younger artists be able to come out to maybe a residency, maybe something where I have to commit even more time in giving back to the arts. I don't want it to be, I don't want this process to be only, I don't want my love of the arts to be consumed by the monetary part of it only. I love the art market, I follow it, um, and I enjoy it, but I want to be part also of being the proponent of one more proponent of helping young artists emerge.
And at the same time, it's a great way to display your curatorial eye. I think it's important for people to get to see what you have collect through the years, because it's certainly the seal of your intuition, and what you think you want to get. So it will be amazing to be able to, some people just type there the Museum of Alberto. So somehow just be able to see it all together in one place. I think it will be an amazing gift to
Yeah,
humanity.
maybe one day. We've been slowly donating. I donated a beautiful Shara Hughes to the ICA in Miami recently, an extraordinary piece. We're working with museums, and we're lending pieces to museums constantly. I'm lending a Chloe Wise that is going to a museum soon, and there's things happening all over the place with the pieces. But yeah, one day something to actually be able to show part of it would be interesting. But yeah, a museum with my name on it is probably not what I want to do with it. I'm thinking more of a residency and maybe with a curatorial space on the side where I can, because we both Jocelyn and I really love hanging and unhanging work, and seeing how art talks to each other.
Yeah,
That I do for the rest of my life. So maybe we have a space next door where we can work with that.
yeah. I think the whole story of private collections, and empty museums is quite something that is happening in Miami. We have beautiful museums now, but their collections are empty. And then when people put their name on it, they don't like it. But then I don't know. I think part of what's happening in cities like Miami, that somehow trying to build their name and history with new collectors or new private collectors or museums, I think is quite, it's not happening in Los Angeles. I think the movement and the people in Los Angeles really put their money where the mouth is, really make it happen.
Definitely. I mean, listen. I mean, what the Broad Museum here is something that, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to see a condensation of important pop art, it's there. I mean,
Yep.
it is an extraordinary collection of that, particularly of that movement. I mean, they're doing many more things, but it's an extraordinary collection. The Marcianos opened and closed. It was a very fast situation, and I don't want to get into the politics of all that. Um, but yeah, no, there's incredible collections here. But the Rubels in Miami are kind of like my heroes. The way I mean, talk about fanaticism. They don't stop. They're everywhere I turn around. They're there, and they've been there. They were in Colombia buying art. They were buying Miller Lagos
Amazing. Yes.
20 years ago, 17 years ago in Colombia. I mean, it's incredible their dedication and the devotion and how they're giving back.
Have you
Uh,
seen the museum?
hmm?
Have you
Yes,
seen the museum?
yes.
It's unbelievable. I spoke with her 2 weeks ago because I actually been chasing her to trying to get her to be online, and but it's just their vision is so now. They're very good in what they do, and I really love it. I think the 5 or 6 collections of art that we have in Miami. We have let go some people like Ella Cisneros. She's
Hmm.
no longer in Miami. And then people kind of disappear because again, the interest. The blow up news of what Miami is during the first week of our Basel, Denny Lance, and reality after, and people struggle to make business, and to do it. I can say it for myself. I opened my gallery 20 years ago, and I did 2 years of shows, and I went flat bankrupt. And then, I accumulate art, but I'm being lucky enough to have mentors and friends such as you, and I have Kurt Elfrey, that is being incredibly generous with me. But to do business in Miami and to sell art is something that is quite, for me, impossible to do it. That's what do you think about the future online?
I think here is where the future is, and I'm sitting here talking to you because this is the new now for me. I adopted Instagram 8 years ago, and I never left. And a lot of the artists that I collect today, a lot of the people I have that are friends of mine today are all relationships that I created through Instagram and the arts. And just recently, I've been talking to 3 or 4 younger collectors constantly. So I think this is it. Do I want to see art live? Of course. But I just got news today that Freeze London is not gonna happen in October. So I think we're not gonna have too many. I don't know. Have you heard anything about Basel, Miami? In
Well,
this.
the last big shot news is that now we have a new owner of our Basel, Mr. Murdoch.
Yeah, that is a bummer.
That is a Fox News. That's not fake news. Let's just say
That
that.
bummer if the Murdochs are gonna get in there, but
They got in there. They got in there, and I don't know if our Basel Miami is going to happen. Certainly for us local are our medicine of the year. I run my online gallery after I learned from my experiences, and it's been unbelievable for me. Now we represent almost 30 artists between emergence and solid. So that's kind of great in a way because we don't have to be up there trying to survive within the system. But the other day I was actually taking a look of listening this talk, and this Hong Kong collector was actually raving about your collection, and telling how relevant you are in this moment as a young collector. What is your collectors that you admire around the world? Anything that you kind of like admire or feel a little bit like, oh my God, I want to have that? A part of the rebels?
so many people I admire in the arts. So many. I don't want to. I use the Rubel example because they really are role models for both Jocelyn and I
Yes, they are.
in every sense of the word. And of course, my parents are huge role models.
They
Uh,
are.
how
Your
they've
parents are the coolest parents ever. I love them both. They're the nicest.
I love that they have let me express myself how I want it and do really basically what I want. Here I am in LA doing absolutely my chosen life. And that is something that I'm truly grateful for. And many more collectors and friends, and there's too many to name, Carlos. But the Rubels stand very high in what I because I'm also about the now and what's happening today. That is what interests me. I love Picasso and Magritte, and I always will. But they have passed, and I really like what's happening today in the arts.
What is your favorite art fair to visit?
Well, art. Listen, I have a huge affinity to Art Basel Miami because we were there since the beginning, and we helped push it, and very, very much so. I mean, when it was an experiment, I remember those days extraordinarily well. And when it was canceled, because of 9/11. But I've always liked Freeze London. Now I'm a big fan of Freeze LA. But the big fair in Switzerland, the big Art Basel fair with a little trip to the Baylor Foundation, is something
Yeah,
that's
to
very.
see our mutual friend Samuel Keller is always a
No,
good idea.
Sam is a genius. There's no
Yeah,
other word. There's no other word. A genius. One of the first guys that I actually met deeply in the art world. That was always very, very, very generous. Very, very generous to me. I love FIAC in Paris these days. Unfortunately, but I'm a fair lover because I love to travel. I love to go to Paris, London. I was enjoying, Basel, Hong Kong, and I think it's a tragedy what's happening in Hong Kong right now. It really hurts my heart because I've been going to Hong Kong for many years for business and now for art, and it's a real bummer to see what's going on there.
Yeah. What is your favorite? I'm asking you about favorite things because you're such a great source of inspiration and knowledge. The favorite platform where you buy art, which is the one to go to?
To be very honest with you, I don't use I either buy through the galleries or I buy at auction. Uh, Christie, Sotheby's, and Phillips are where I'm sourcing and I'm buying. I still haven't used Artsy once to buy a painting. I've done some research on it, but I still haven't done the first transaction through it.
Interesting to know, because it's such a new movement, to buy online, and certainly it's getting better, in a way for the people, not perhaps of your caliber of collections, but there's good sales.
I mean, I forgot to mention the most important one, which is Instagram. I am buying a lot of work through Instagram. Just now, I'm buying some work that I found in Connecticut. I'm buying arts from a young guy here in LA. My relationship with Matthew Wong, who unfortunately, committed suicide and died not too long ago, was started through Instagram, and I bought my paintings through Instagram, and it was a relationship that was born online. So, this is the most important platform for me, no questions asked.
Unbelievable. That's great. That's great. Could you give us a quick pic of what's going around you? Maybe from your chair, you can do a 360. Maybe.
There's Jocelyn.
Yeah. Hello. The news.
There's a little bit of it's a little hazy outside. I'm a huge Shio Kusaka fan.
Wow, beautiful.
These are inspired by Agnes Martin. I love what she does. This is a little more Shio. This is a strawberry.
Let's don't forget about the furniture. My God, they're really beautiful period pieces.
Do you know Lucy Ball?
No, not familiar.
She's a young artist that I've been collecting and I'm obsessed with.
Very good work.
Of course, I'm a huge fan of Chloe Wise.
Beautiful piece.
Yeah, and she had very, very clear, very early. I mean, this was pre-pandemic. And the whole
painter.
Yeah. This is a Gio Ponti. This is yeah. This has been around with me for over 20 years. This is a Leger from Gio Ponti also. Carpets from Morocco. Let me show you I want to show you this Matthew Wong is just wow, it's just a beauty.
Great painters. Great painters.
Little Nicholas Party here.
Wow.
And then
that's pencil, right?
What's that?
Pencil.
Yes, this is a turtle from Josh Smith, whom I absolutely love these turtles.
I really hope all these artists understand how much passion you put on it, and how.
My obsession with Josh Smith has been incredible. Yeah. Anyway, that's a little peek. This is Marcus Jamal.
Fantastic.
He has a show coming soon in various small fires here in LA. I'm a big fan. This is Sharif. Look at that. These ceramics that he's doing are extraordinary.
They're very, very good.
Yeah. Anyway, I have to we have to rehang, but the whole, I'm a huge believer in anyway. This Henry Taylor is fantastic.
Oh wow, I haven't seen that. That's beautiful.
It's really beautiful. I have some beautiful Taylors. Of course, the pots from Jonas. This is a nice little Grochon. But I wanted to show you Celeste Dupuy Spencer.
Wow.
This we loaned to the Whitney Biennial. She's incredible. She's really. Tell me if I'm getting too close and it gets blurry.
But it's absolutely perfect. I love it.
Yeah, all these little details are just
Unbelievable.
She's incredible. Look at these faces of despair. She's doing it. She's doing it really well. I think we're going to see an extraordinary career out of her.
I think so too.
Calvin Marcus, Josh Smith,
so eclectic.
Hawkins.
Wow.
Look at that. I mean, it's all ceramic. It's just kind of like an interesting transvestite, no?
Yeah.
Ruby Neri's ceramics are just really to die for, man. She's great. She's really great. Anyway,
What did you do with all your photography? Oh, Nadine,
Yes.
Nadine Ospina.
Yeah. These are from the 90s. I mean, he's extraordinary. I mean, come on. These are all just incredible. Yeah. Then just really quickly, these Cal Marcus ceramics are beautiful. Just extraordinary. Do you want a quick peek in the balcony and then we leave?
Of course, we do. Wow, look at that piece. Quite spectacular. What a way to live with art.
I've been obsessed with ceramics here in LA, of course, They're all over the place. I can't stop buying them, and they're not cheap.
I have to introduce you one ceramist that we have that I believe is brilliant, Alice Hodge. I will send you information. She's quite. What a great view. Very hazy.
It's very hazy today, yes. Yeah.
What do you do with all your photography, Alberto? There's no one hanging in the walls.
There's a Cindy Sherman downstairs. There's a Cindy Sherman downstairs, and there's a Peter Beard. You want to see the Peter Beard really quick?
Of course, I would love to remember that.
Yeah. Hey, let me see. There's bad reception here, but I might be able to do it for you. Hold on. I hope we don't. Oh, this is Javi, no?
Oh, wow.
Again, this is a Jocelyn met him 9 years ago on Instagram.
She's such a visionary too. What a great couple. Oh, it breaks my heart. You got that one.
It's so beautiful.
I know.
1972.
I know. That was the best piece of the show.
His spot in Montauk.
Amazing.
Yeah. And then little Bacon's here on the side.
Yeah.
Little George Condo here, of course. This is Demoiselle d'Avignon. This was painting in 2007, and Demoiselle d'Avignon was painted in 1907. So it was an homage to Picasso. And
I can see the women with masks. I love them.
Jen Guidi.
Oh, I haven't heard. Yeah, that's a fantastic piece too.
Robert Nava. I mean, this is like I absolutely, I'm obsessed with Nava.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, I'm obsessed with too many things.
Well, that the wonderful thing is that you're sharing it with us today.
For Craig Kusha,
Good job. Wow.
he's doing incredible. Little Emily Mae Smith,
Yes.
here and here.
Oh, that's a brilliant piece.
And then you know, little.
Brilliant pieces.
It really never ends. And then of course
Oh,
the
Harry. Beautiful. Oh, what a precious Harry. It's a museum already.
it's all over the place.
Yes. Living with art, that's a very important thing to know. And I really want to say thank you, Alberto, for giving us the tour, for your time, your generosity, sharing all this knowledge about these artists that I really don't know. A big kiss to this amazing muse.
Hola, Juan Carlos.
Hola, hola. You know, Jocelyn, you two are just the perfect companion, and so great that you are up there helping artists and supporting the world.
Thank you so much, Juan Carlos, and thank you for helping me get inspired early on. I really
Please,
appreciate
it is, I'm humbled by that because you are just an amazing person. Thank
very
you.
part of that injection that I got, and I really truly appreciate it, and I take it with me always.
Oh, thank you
Gracias,
very much.
gracias, compadre.
Gracias. All my best.
Un abrazo grande.
Be safe.
El próximo en español.
Seguro, we done it. We're
Okay.
gonna do that, and we're gonna talk about Colombian art. How about that?
We'll do a spot. Okay.
Sounds terrific. Can't wait.
Un abrazo.
Besos.
Chao.